Hi, everyone. I'm Plastics News publisher Brennan Lafferty. Welcome to this special Ask the Expert live stream conversation presented by the Trefoil Group and Stamm Media and hosted by Plastics News. We are excited to bring you this discussion live and allow you the opportunity to interact with our two presenters. Today, we'll be discussing events, specifically trade shows, and how they've changed this year and how to approach them strategically next year. With us today are two media experts, Mary Scheibel, founder and CEO of the Trefoil Group, and Dave Stamm, CEO of Stamm Media. And they'll be discussing Trade Shows 2021, integrate virtual experiences to drive ROI. Now, Mary and Dave will answer your questions after their presentation. But to submit a question, email pnevents@crane.com, or if you're watching the live stream on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, simply send your questions through those platforms. With that, I'll hand things over to our experts, Mary Scheibel and Dave Stamm. Take it away, guys.
Hi, I'm Mary Scheibel.
And I'm Dave Stamm.
We want to thank everyone for attending, and we're really excited to talk about the value of virtual experiences and why they're critical to your company's 2021 trade show success. With so many unknowns in front of us regarding the future of trade shows, you can take control of your effectiveness right now by developing a hybrid strategy that leverages in-booth and virtual experiences. With NPE and other trade shows around the corner, now is the time to reset your thinking. We're eager and we're hopeful to see all of you at NPE, but companies that rely on traditional in-booth only approaches will fail to develop trade show investments that truly do drive a greater ROI.
As a leader in event technology, Stamm Media's roots are in creating memorable trade show experiences for our marquee clients like Dow, Rockwell Automation, and GE. Until this year, these were all in-person events. But as we look to the future, companies want us to create smaller, more personalized experiences for them. We expect this to be more theaters inside of their booths going forward to improve the experience for both people who aren't there in person and for those who are attending virtually. And these experiences can integrate with a broad range of host platforms, so you do not have to wait to create your experiences or limit your creativity in any way.
Most importantly, this approach enables you to leverage these investments beyond the show. Our goal is to help you to create tools you can use on your website and your social media channels to attract prospects, to foster more engagement, and to build your brand. And this is what adds up to a greater ROI. Today, Dave and I are going to showcase 4 virtual strategies to incorporate into your trade show approach. This will create a significantly better experience for your booth visitors and give people what it is they come to trade shows to see. Technology and product showcases, panel discussions and educational forums, facilities or plant tours, and most importantly, each other. Dave is going to bring these concepts to life through work he's done for big name brands you're sure to recognize. Let's begin with technology and product showcases.
This is why people come to the shows, to get a first-hand look at your new technologies. We give brands the ability to take their clients inside their new technologies and showcase their competitive advantages like never before. So let's go into the examples. The first example, this is for a company called Nidec, and what they were showcasing is large packaging machines that they create. They normally bring these to the trade show booth. And so what they decided to explore with last year was moving this over to an augmented reality iPad app. So we took a series of curated products, about 5 products that they've got, and we put them into this iPad application. When the booth staff was using the application, they were able to drop the products into the augmented reality space. So it actually appeared like it was standing. If you were looking at the iPad, it appears that the product was right there in the booth with them. They were able to scale it and size it. They could spin it around. And there was even an X-ray mode where they could see into pieces of the machine to see how it worked. They were able to explore with product callouts as well. The nice part about doing this type of an application is you can use it at the show on an iPad with your staff, but you can also port this over to the web and to other applications that the virtual attendees can use as well. We also find that after the shows, a lot of times these type of applications get moved over to the sales team, while the sales team is able to do either virtual visits or in-person visits with the prospects and show them the products up close using this type of technology. Another example that you see here on screen in the video is with GE Healthcare. And what we did for them is, this is an example of being able to repurpose content for product demonstrations. So we work with them to actually take some of the stuff that they've done over the last 12 to 18 months, and we were able to repurpose it into this new virtual world that we're dealing with. So they had some product videos, and we actually put them into a software program, and we added 3D elements into that software. So we're able to give it more of a bit of visual depth and more of an appeal, so it wasn't just people that were logging into a Zoom call watching a flat 2D video. So now, Mary, why don't we take people into our brand new product demonstration platform and show them how it works?
That's great. Let's go.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to our virtual platform.
Wow, Dave, this is so exciting. It's so much more engaging to be able to interface with this technology this way instead of just sitting in front of our computer screens. Well, this is really a unique experience. I don't think I've ever really been up front this close to an MRI machine. And as I understand it, I can actually tour a company's entire product showcase using this technology on my own. I don't even have to wait for you.
You got it. And I can move around the space and I can talk to people, and I can also move around the space and I can look at products. Mary, should we jump back to our stage?
That sounds great. I'll see you there.
Great.
Well, that was fun. We're back.
Well, that was really exciting, and you can also see, I think, real easily how this approach allows you to bring large-scale, really big equipment to real-life scale and to multiple applications. It also dramatically reduces the cost of shipping this equipment to a trade show and making it operational.
A good example of this is we have done a project recently with GE Healthcare for their X-ray division, and we had found that they would take this product to a trade show and it would cost them $900,000 to exhibit it there between the floor space, the setup labor, and actually the shipping and getting this machine in. It was nearly $1 million for them to show it.
And again, unlike a trade show that's over in 4 days, these investments and these tools can be used after the show. And this is where the real ROI comes into play. The next thing we're going to talk about are panels and educational sessions. There's a really big opportunity for companies to use these inside and outside of the booth to drive market leadership perceptions and to help educate your prospective clients on your technologies. You know, over the past several months, we've seen a lot of these sessions start to take shape, and we've definitely seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. But this is really your opportunity to create more captivating panel discussions that bring people together regardless of where they are. You really have a tremendous opportunity to use technology differently and to create a much different experience for people that are connecting with you virtually.
So we use this technology to seamlessly bring together a panel of speakers, no matter where they're located. Even if all the speakers are broadcasting from different locations, we can use dynamic backdrops or virtual sets to create a sense of continuity and the illusion that they are all together in the same place.
And not necessarily in your third bedroom.
Right? So let's go over a couple of examples that we've got here. The first one, this is an entirely virtual panel discussion. This is a project for GE, and we use this, so we basically bring the experience up a notch from either using Teams or Zoom. We use some production software called Vmix, and so what you're seeing here was created in that. And in here, we've got one moderator, the woman on the left, and we've got 4 panelists that you see. And the panelists are all people, the moderator and all the 4 panelists, so the 5 total, are all in different locations. They're either presenting from home or presenting from their office or from potentially a hospital. So what you see here in this example, this was actually filmed in the studio that Mary and I are filming in right now. And we've got a panel of experts talking about manufacturing and how the pandemic has affected them. There is a moderator who's off camera, and then we have 5 panelists, all from different companies, talking to one another and presenting on the topic of COVID related to manufacturing. Here's another project also in the studio. This is a project with Waukesha Engine, and this was 3 people from their leadership team having a panel discussion. And then this is an example of another client. This is a hybrid approach. So the moderator that you see on the left, the taller video, she is actually in studio with some of the other leadership team, but she is actually moderating a panel of 3 offices that are remote. So the 3 people that you see in the Zoom style interface are all remote, but they are all interacting with the people who are on set and on stage. So this is a hybrid approach to a panel.
And one of the things that I really want to emphasize before we go on to the next example is how important it is to be able to edit and to be able to redo the information that's presented. I've done this with clients for years to do webinars and different kinds of presentations. And almost always somebody will come up to me afterwards and say, oh, I forgot to mention this, or gee, it would have been so much better had I been able to rethink what it was I was going to say. If I had to do it over, I would integrate this information.
And one of our most fun examples to show is a project that we were in the middle of right now. It's probably been one of our most fun projects in virtual experience, and it's for the US Army. The US Army had to reimagine how they were going to handle recruiting events at high schools, as most high schools are currently operating virtually. And they needed to get in front of the students to keep the recruitment numbers up. So what we worked with them, and it was a team effort. We worked with a fairly large team to create and produce a virtual experience. So what you're seeing in the example now is you're seeing 3 enlisted Army officers and 1 civilian moderator. So you see 4 total people. And the effect is that it looks like they're on a modern military Army base. But actually, all 4 presenters are in different locations. So they're not even together. And they are not, and the whole environment is actually computer-generated graphics. So it is a simulated Army base that was created, and a few of the presenters are at Army bases on green screen studio sets. One is shooting from home, and the moderator is also shooting from home. And we use some technology to digitally stitch them all together, and this could be pre-recorded or this could be live. So we'll show you kind of behind the scenes, how does this work, right? How do we kind of put that together? You could do it for yourself as well. So here's an example of what it looked like when one of the officers was being shot on a full green screen. And we're using the concept of what we call virtual sets. So virtual sets is where we take a person or set of people that are being filmed on green screen, and we tie in a computer-generated set. Could look something like a newsroom, as the example that you're seeing here. It could also be something, it could be a picture or a rendering of your office, or even better, it could be an imagination of what your futuristic office could look like. It could look like anything that you think would fit the message. So we tie the 2 things together, as you see in the example here. We took the man that was standing on green screen, and we took the virtual set. We've tied the 2 together, and it looks like he's sitting in a newsroom, and he's able to present also content on the monitors that are within this virtual newsroom. So, and again, it could look like anything. It does not have to look like a newsroom. So right now, Mary and I are going to take you into a virtual set to show you how it works. Are you ready, Mary?
I am.
So here we are on our virtual set.
As you can see, for this particular demonstration, we've chosen a location that looks much like an industrial office building. It could be the lobby of your facility. It could be a conference center where your audience is presenting at. It can be anywhere, really. But the most important thing is you don't have to lock your presenters up in their remote locations. We don't have to see people in their 3rd bedroom. You can see them in environments like here, like the one we're seeing here, and it's really very easy to do.
And we also, as you can see, there's video screens in these virtual sets. So if you have to do a presentation, you can still show video, pictures, or similar things within those virtual screens. You're able to actually take inputs just like if they were real television sets. So now that you've seen us in the virtual set, why don't we take a look behind the scenes and see where we actually are filming?
Nowhere near as exciting.
It isn't. We're in our own studio, and we've got a full-body green screen set up. with a surrounding lighting, and Mary and I are standing here, and this is what it looks like. So now let's head back on stage. And we're back. So one of the ways that you could do this, if you're wondering, how do we create a green screen? Do we need to build out a studio? Do we need to rent a studio? It's honestly fairly simple. We have a number of kits that we send out. We can send them to the presenters' homes or their offices, and it's a green screen kit similar to what you see in the picture. And it has different, we can even include a backup internet option. We include computers, audio, video, and the key is lighting. Lighting is very important to a small portable studio. So we send it out with a kit with a video instruction and printed instructions. It's fairly easy for your team or your executives who will be presenting to set this up and take it down wherever they're going to be doing the filming.
Another advantage of doing it this way is you can interact with your viewers by holding live Q&As. You can come back together and you can take questions from the audience that you're talking to. You can do this either immediately following a panel discussion if it took place in real time, or you can do this at a later time if you choose to broadcast your pre-recorded session at a time that's different than when you recorded it. So if we look at the next technology that we want to showcase for you, the virtual experience that's next on our docket, for many of our customers, they seal the deal with on-site plant tours. And it's been very difficult because right now they cannot get any of their customers to want to come to their facilities, and people aren't even allowed to come into these facilities. So you can make these plant tours very impactful, in fact, more impactful than an actual on-site visit. You can transport your guests to your facility for an inside look at your technologies, and they can still meet your teams.
So speaking of transporting people to another world, the example that we're showing here was for Snap-on. And what they wanted to showcase is their audience were their franchisees. And there were 10,000 plus franchisees, and Snap-on wanted to get across the message to them that these tools they make and that they sell are made in the USA, and that was deeply important to their sales, to their value proposition. So what we created for them is an experience where they virtually transported the people to a facility tour of Snap-on's hand tool plant in Murphy, North Carolina. And I've actually been there, and you fly into Atlanta, and it's a good 4-hour drive to get to the facility. It's an amazing facility, but you drive into the middle of nowhere. And the fact that we would get 10,000 plus people to get there for a real tour would be difficult, even if there wasn't a pandemic going on. So what we created here is we took 360 cameras, and we went to the facility, and we took from 6 different locations in the facility, we took 360 video. We then came back afterwards in the studio, stitched it together into a 2.5-minute loop. We added an Iron Man style heads-up display, and we put a voiceover narration on it. So people were able to experience this in a 360-degree video tour. The experience could be handled in a 3D goggles, it could be in a dome, or it could be up on a touchscreen that you could navigate through.
To showcase some of the work that we're doing for some of our other clients, I want to give you some information that might be helpful to you as you consider this. We're using drone footage, and we're using drone footage to showcase the depth and breadth of their facilities and to really be able to get a holistic look at the manufacturing environment. We're using videography to capture a look inside the technologies themselves, to give their audiences a bird's eye view you could never get on a tour. I say it's like hovering over Bob Seger's fingers during his farewell tour during a guitar slick. You couldn't get that, not even in the first few rows. You can also showcase your teams, highlighting the diverse mix of leadership, management, and operations people who are critical to the success of your customer programs. You can still introduce individuals who are on your tour to those people that they would meet in an actual tour of your facility.
And let's not forget what we think people will come to the trade shows more than any other time for in our history, to see each other, to network together. So right now we're going to show you a few examples. What you're seeing here is a platform that we've written. And when the pandemic started, we realized that what was very hard with the current virtual platforms that are on the market, it was very hard to find things that could do product demos and networking. So if you went to the show to run into certain prospects that would happen to come into your booth and you could show them all of your products, or maybe you were hosting the networking event, at NPE. And now how do we replicate those things in a virtual world? So we spent time to create our own virtual platform for networking. So you're seeing some examples of it here, and it allows us to bring in people in a 3D environment. It's somewhat like a platform with video, such as Zoom or Teams, but mixed with a video game style avatar, so you can navigate the space. And as people move and talk to each other, it is as similar to real life as we can get. They're able to navigate around and talk to individuals. They're able to search with the platform to find people that they know and actually teleport to them. And how the platform works is you can only hear the people that you're near. So just like if you were in a big ballroom with 100 and some people, and you were in a group of 5, and you could only hear clearly the 5 people you were talking to, the platform works the same way. It knows who you're near, and you can hear those people, and the digital people that are on the other side of the room, you don't hear them unless you walk over to them. So we've tried to replicate the networking component of this as close to real life as we could.
And for those people in the audience who think they don't want to be an avatar and they're hesitant, you really do want to do this. Not only will it facilitate really cool engagement and networking with business colleagues, but the little ones in your lives, your kids and your grandkids, will really think you're cool.
And so there's a few other examples of networking that we see also related as the world starts to reopen and we get to some hybrid events, which we all know are coming soon, we hope. There's a couple other examples. So one is with the NBA, and if you're a basketball fan, I'm sure you've seen this in the bubble. The NBA partnered with Microsoft to use Microsoft Teams, a custom version of Microsoft Teams for the NBA. So what you see in the example is roughly 100 virtual people watching the game, and they're actually able to audibly and visually interact with the players on the court, just like if they were in the stands. They're able to watch the game from a different vantage point, and if they unmute them, they're able to actually audibly talk to the players as well. So the NBA used this as an advantage to both the players to make them feel like people were watching the game and there was an audience, which there was virtually, and to give the virtual attendance at least those 100 people who were getting picked for each game to be virtually present at the game, more so than if they were watching it just on television. Another similar example that we really like is there's a new show on television, The Drew Barrymore Show, and she's got a really cool experience where she uses a customized Zoom-style experience to interact with her virtual audience. And so currently her show is completely virtual. She has no real attendance, but she's able to talk to and wave to, and she can bring up the audio and video for those people that she chooses and her team chooses to have up on the screen as you see in the example. What'll be nice about this is she's already discussed how as her show is able to allow certain people to come, a certain size audience back to the show, she's going to be able to have those people inside the show in real life mixed with the virtual attendance up on the screen. And we are expecting that we're going to be seeing this happening in the booths as well, right? So what we think will be happening going forward is people may have smaller booths, but they're going to be needing to integrate a hybrid virtual audience with the in-person audience together and blend them all together. And this could be one way to do it.
So by now, we hope you're as excited as we are about the power of virtual experiences to really enhance your trade show presence. But critical to the ability to maximize your trade show investments, which we all know have been elusive, and everybody has always wondered, what is the return on the investment that I'm getting? With this type of approach, you can answer that age-old dilemma, what do we do with our trade show leads? And you can leverage the tools that you're putting together for these virtual experiences to get in touch with your audiences post-show. You can create an email drip campaign. You can share these assets over an extended time frame. You can expand your reputation and reach by posting your content on social media. Social media is just soaring in terms of its engagement statistics right now. You can use your panel discussion as an on-demand video on your website. You can enhance your sales conversation and increase your touch points by leveraging your product technology showcases, your panel discussions, and your videos throughout the sales cycle. We all know that for many of you, it's a long sales cycle, and now you'll have the content that you need in order to stay in touch with people, to maintain top of mind awareness and consideration set throughout the sales cycle.
Thanks, Mary. Before we open with the Q&A, we'd like to leave you with two thoughts. First, we want to make sure you have the right technology partner on the team. So we focus on being platform agnostic, and that means we know there's lots of different virtual platforms out there, anything from as simple as Team or Zoom, all the way up to something that is custom branded. So we want to make sure that you pick a technology provider that can produce virtual experiences, that position your brand properly and leapfrog your competition and show you as a true innovator. Be careful you don't try this necessarily with in-house resources, as these technologies are changing rapidly, and you want to be able to work with someone who's totally on top of it and driving these trends.
Last, but certainly not least, your critical first move is always a strategic one. Make sure you know who your target audience is. Make sure you understand what it is they care about and what the market opportunity is that you're going after. Discover and learn how you help your customers win, and put all of this together in a powerful story of differentiation that you're going to take out with these experiences. We think it's so important to make sure that you not only have a story worth telling, but a story worth listening to.